All right, all right. Microphone check. Hold on. Customizing the sounds so we're all good. If anybody is tuned in already, make sure you let me know if I can be heard, if I am audible. Can you hear me? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I am Uncle Makara, all relations. Today we're going to be speaking about the thymus chakra, okay? This is going to be a very important deep dive for us because I've been getting these downloads from the Primal Sutra Nexus about this specific chakra point. Hey there, love. So, chant pack, let's go. All right. So, I've been getting these downloads about the thymus chakra quite recently, and this is actually known as the hidden chakra point because not a lot of people know about it because it's referred to as the higher heart chakra, so it's still a part of Anahata, right? However, if you've ever watched Wolf of Wall Street and they show that scene where he's like, right? The thymus thumps. That is this point, right? The thymus is actually like the seat of our identity, right? So if you start to understand it as like the anatomical throne of your etheric immunity, okay? So it's not your heart or your throat that does that. This is almost like a bridge node, right? It's a bridge node where your human biology kneels to your divine identity. And if you start looking at the esoterics of this thing, they'll refer to it as the eighth chakra. And guess what? 8 hertz per second is the flow state frequency. Okay. And we're in 888 path at Primal Sutra. So there's something hidden here, like a hidden switchboard or like some kind of thing that's in the background that's moving all of us, but not a lot of us pay attention to this point. So just by tapping this point, you'll start opening up a lot of these energies, right? Because the thymus chakra, when it's switched on, your body stops being a meat suit that just produces stuff and it starts becoming like a bioelectric cathedral or some shit, right? So most people will never feel this chakra point because they're looking for emotions instead of vibrational commands, right? They're looking for love instead of like sovereign frequency, right? That they're looking for safety and not the internal authority connecting through your expression, right? You guys know when your throat chakra seems blocked, like you want to say something but you can't say, and it's like this weird, like lump in the throat kind of feeling. Oftentimes, I've noticed that if I don't clear the thymus, my throat gets affected, and if I don't take care of the throat, the thymus gets affected, and if I don't care the heart chakra, then also the midpoint gets affected, right? So it's almost like the thymus chakra doesn't respond to you just oming in a corner. It responds to your oaths, the vows that you take, the commitment that you take in your life, right? So it actualizes your coherence, your identity in a certain way, right? And so this makes this point like our self recognition gland, right? Because the thymus is associated with the thymus gland. Also, it's like deeply connected to your like lymphatic system. If you guys know a little bit about the lymphatic system, so it trains your immune cells to know this is me, this is not me, right? So spiritually, it's the same thing because this is the chakra that stops psychic contamination, ancestral residue, karmic echoes, ancestral parasites. Okay, so it's like energetic border control. Okay, it's not in a fearful way, it's in a very sovereign way, right? It's like, okay, this is allowed in my field, this is not allowed, right? So that discernment, that spiritual discernment that we need in order to like make decisions and like rapidly like switch our thinking and start to weave our identity with lots of things, comes naturally from this point, right? And in a lot of esoteric traditions, this point is also talked about quite extensively, right? So if we start to look at it like this chakra is almost like your self recognition, but it's also your sovereignty. Okay. So This is why awakened mystics suddenly stop tolerating any BS, right? Because their thymus is online in a sense, that chakra's firing up, right? So the ancient Gnostics, the Essassani, the Egyptian streams, all of them talk about like this hidden gate of eternal breath. And guess where they visualize it is the thymus node, right? So this is actually also for your immune system and repairing your immune system and its maturation. So esoterically, this point is actually like for soul rejuvenation, right? And I think this is what we need at this time. Like we just need to rejuvenate our souls so we feel more alive, we feel much more expansive, and we're not like holding ourselves back so much, right? Because if you're kind of down and you're shy and you're inwards, you start closing up this thymus area, if you'll notice, right? Start going like this. But if you start opening up your thymus, you'll start noticing there's an activation in this that's happening automatically, right? Because the Egyptians, they did the Ankh breathing, right? The Tibetan, they did the Lasun, the wind practices, right? The Essassani did the solar activations, right? Or the Atlantean tone healing. They all use this is the chamber where the etheric double generates, right? So where your aging slows down and your illness starts to fade. This is where your cells remember that they are light, right? So when activated, mystics start looking younger. Okay, they start looking much more youthful and exuberant because the thymus chakra is pumping divine voltage into their physical blueprint. And it is the true seat of psychic shielding. I will notice this area tense up at times when I'm noticing other beings or entities trying to protrude or like pierce my field or pierce my aura. I will immediately notice it. And light workers get cooked not because the world is dark, like I once said, but because their thymus is offline, right? So their aura has no commander, no leader. Okay, so thymus energy is auric membrane intelligence. If you think of it like that, right? Without it, your aura sponges, it leaks, it merges, it absorbs things, and it collapses. With this, very strong, right? And you can also look up Quadable Integrity's higher heart chakra, the thymus. If you start listening to that, you'll be noticing that welling up in the heart or like that feeling of heartbreak. It just kind of sends it out. There's a very natural sense of awareness that comes through that, right? So with this chakra point, your aura is filtering, commanding, signaling, reflecting, transmitting, right? It's doing all of these. It's multitasking, right? It's doing so many different tasks at once, and your energy field becomes like a fiberglass shell of this solar authority because it's directly um, connected to your solar plexus as well, because the heart is connected to the solar plexus as well, right? So this is why we've got to understand that this is like a psychic firewall type of energy, right? It's the emerald gate of Thoth. It is the shield heart. It is the heart of compassion, right? So this discernment is going to come alive when you work with this specific chakra point, right? And I know I'm tapping here a lot, but that's the that's the point, right? The point is to tap at the thymus point, to keep it active, to keep our awareness there, right? And to center ourselves, to get back into our baseline here, because it's the chakra of alignment, right? Not moral alignment, energetic alignment. Okay. So if you start noticing these sensations, okay, you can't be fake and have your thymus open. That's number one, right? You can't be posturing healing or trying to be a specific way as a healer, right? Rather than just being your authentic self, right? And just crushing it and just like expressing yourself honestly, right? So this is the thing. This this chakra punishes lies with physical sensations. Have you ever noticed this? That you feel a chest pressure or you're coughing, like your throat cracking, or like a sudden fatigue or like a weird anxiety that kicks in. Why? Why? Because this is the chakra of alignment, right? So the thymus vibrates at the frequency of I am who I say I am. Okay? Eminem song, right? I am whatever you say I am. No, no, that's not what others say you are. You are who you say you are. Okay? I am who I say I am. Right? As Popeye the Sailor once said, I am what I am. Right? So this is I am who I say I am. That's the frequency. That's the vibration of this thing. Okay? So when the thymus is awakened, your words are going to carry more weight. Your aura is going to speak before you and for you, right? As well as people will feel your presence before you even say a word, right? Your intuition will sharpen, but and your manifestations will hit quicker, and your BS tolerance, right, drops down to an absolute zero, right? It's like, nah, I'm not about that life, right? It's that chakra. It's the I'm not about that life chakra, right? I know what is my worth, right? It's the warrior chakra technically, because I agree. Some people say that okay, it's the solar plexus and so forth, but the chakra of inner truth and outer command remains right here, and the fact that it's hidden and the normie sheep don't really know about this stuff, right? So once you learn about it, it's like a whole world opens up for you because it's the link or the bridge. It's a bridge node, like I said. So once it's activated, right? Once it's activated through breath that touches the soul, um, and regular breath hits the lungs, right? And prana breath hits the spine, your soul breath hits this point, the thymus. It's your soul breath, right, that we're concerned with. This is why shamanic breath work, kundalini kriyas, Sufi heart swirling, the dervish dancers, right? The Taoist microcosmic orbit, right? And the Lam Rim wind practices, like I said, all emphasize breath in the upper chest and the sternum region. So when your breath hits the thymus, it's not air, it's like an identity download that you're getting, right? It's an alignment download that you're getting. So this is why it's important to emphasize that this is who am I becoming, right? This is the question that the thymus wants to speak out to us. Who am I really becoming? And your cells, once it knows this and hears this, it starts adjusting, right? It starts acting more accordingly. So this chakra is almost like a command line interface. So most people, they will manifest with their emotions, but advanced mystics manifest with identity frequency via the thymus. Because they don't pray for reality, they're declaring it, right? You're authoring reality. You're not hoping for it to happen. And this chakra becomes now your I am signature, your I am portal, your divine signature in a sense, right? This is how these otherworldly beings, they get a sense of your individuality in a sense, because this is the shaman's inner microphone. This is where you speak from the throat. This is where you broadcast out to the world through the thymus. So this becomes now the chakra of the primal warrior priest, because in the Primal Sutra language, this is the seat of the savage shaman, because it fuses clarity, intensity, vision, boundaries, and soul authority all in one, right? It just fuses all of that in one. And this is where, like, the inner deity first lights up, right? It's not the crown, it's actually in the thymus, because deities don't descend into confusion, they descend into clarity, right? So when the thymus ignites, you become almost unshakable, unmanipulable, right? In this day and age, they say you're unfuckwittable, right? That's the energy of it. So your aura now becomes a command field, not a please like me field. So the people pleasing is gonna drop with the thymus's energy. But if you're feeling a lot of pressure here, one of the things is you've got to express what you really feel and mean, right? Well, what's really going on internally. And I've had to learn this the hard way, because the thymus is like a 0 point reset switch. You ever have those sudden moments where your breath stops or time slows down and your body feels silent? Suddenly everything feels sacred. or like the moment suddenly pulls you into this Holy Spirit, or like this the moment becomes holy, right, in a sense. So when the thymus chakra is like pulling you right into the 0 point neutrality, it's bringing you also back into your essence, and your power and your presence, right, your choice, your identity. And this is why activated mystics walk like they know something that the world forgot, because they do, right? Hidden chakra means occult chakra, right? The word occult just means it's hidden. And it's hidden for a reason, because not everybody's ready for this level of information, which is why if you're not resonating with this video, or you feel like there's something off, you're not ready for this level of advanced information yet. So you've got to, first of all, just observe how your thymus chakra is like the forgotten command center of your spiritual adulthood. Most people live from a very wounded heart. Some live from a very chaotic throat, that's true, but very few live from a sovereign thymus. And this is my just general observation of the spiritual circus out there, okay? And when you do, you're moving like a deity in a human biomech suit, right? You're speaking like a soul with a spine full of lightning bolts, right? You're loving without collapsing, you're giving without leaking, you're choosing without fear, right? So your life becomes a frequency fortress, right? Your presence becomes the medicine, and your identity becomes the spell. This is the nexus of Primal Sutra, and this is what they're telling me, is that the path of the savage shaman is a deity-human hybrid, right? If you understand what's really going on, and you pay attention to the center point, you'll start to notice whether it's expanding or it's closing up, okay? We did an intuition exercise in one of my videos. We're just putting a hand over the heart and telling the truth and telling a lie and seeing whether this area closes up or it starts to expand out more, right? So this is not so much about truth, because truth is different through different perspectives, right? This could be a truth. This is also a truth. This is also true, right? So it's not that we're just piercing through the truth. It's the fact that we are able to understand what our truth means to our journey, right? And once we make meaning of it and understand that the falsehood we can actually send away, because the falsehood becomes the resistance. You get that? The falsehood becomes the tension, right? What's fake is the anxiousness. What's fake is you going into the fear timeline. You get what I'm saying? Like, once you can remain in love and that love frequency, your whole timeline collapses and shifts to meet that energy, right? So is it really truth that we're looking for, or is it acceptance? And that from the acceptance, if you look at the Hawkins scale, there's acceptance and there's a willingness to move, right? The energetic. So the neutrality, we enter the 0 point, and then we accept the present moment. And from that acceptance, the willingness of these different identities of the thymus, it's almost like, Ben 10, right? And the Omnitrix, right? So he presses like here, the Omnitrix, and all of these different monsters show up, right? Like I could choose this one, this one, this one, or this one. It becomes like Digimon or some shit, right? So that's how you want to think about it, is like there is one node that contains all these like, so it's 12, 12, 12, right? So 12 to the power of 3, I think, is the energy of how many yous there are, right? So there's like Avatar, there's Rishi soul, right? There's different levels like that. So 1,783, I believe, is somewhere rough estimate of the amount of yous that there are, right? Versions of your soul. So isn't that kind of cool? Because, well, I won't get too much into the esoterics of it. I'm not sure if I can talk too much about this, or the Nexus will even let me bring this up, but I can definitely let the adepts know, especially that we're headed to Sedona, Arizona, and it's going to be epic to meet up with everybody and just tap in. This is a complete reset, a whole, turning off the brain and turning it back on type of thing. Just, being in nature, being out in the red rocks, perceiving the root chakra healing of that environment and the high vibrational energy of that environment, and bringing back those gifts in our day to day, right? As we start sharing more and more with these people. Um, it's all about that sharing, right? So if you feel like you're hoarding information or you're kind of holding things back, it's like you haven't really got to that alignment and energetic alignment. I mean, okay, it's not like, okay, I'm in line, right? I have a good posture. No, it's like your energy is messed up, right? You could still be like a general, right? You have good posture, but it's like you're still stiff, right? So we have to get rid of the stiffness into the flow, into that lucidity, right? Like in a lucid dream, you have this capacity to know. I have the knowingness that I can create things out of the blue, right? Like if you're in a lucid dream, you could be like, okay, I'm going to create a tree right there, right? And that's the godlike state, really, when you're lucid dreaming, because you're understanding that I'm the creator of this thing, right? I'm now in the maze. Yes, I'm in the maze, but I'm the one who created the maze so that I can get myself out of the maze, right? And this is the challenge that we kind of have to drop and break the fourth wall and like sometimes start to understand like the best thing we can do right now is just chill, right? Sometimes the best thing for you to do right now is just to zoom out, not get overly involved into these different talking points that are bringing you to the fear narrative. Just send it a little bit away, right? Don't get entangled in other people's drama, is what I'm saying. Dharma over drama all day, every day. Okay, let's get it today. Thank you so much, guys, for tapping in. I hope you enjoyed this quick little live stream today. I plan to do another video, but it didn't align, and my thymus point was just buzzing, and I was like, hey, what a great idea to make a video, right? So thank you so much. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. May the flow be with you. Stay legendary, okay, guys? Take care of yourselves. May we never be the same again. May the flow be with you. Let's win. Upward Spiral Gang to infinity and beyond. You already know what it is. Let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang. I'll see you guys soon.